record button here. We're now recording. This is episode 37 of Stream the Machine. Starting off to a good start here. And we start right now.
Oh, that's Laurie.
Hi, Jeremy.
What's up?
Are you guys doing this night?
Nah, what are you guys doing?
What?
What?
What are you guys doing?
We're racing.
Oh, you want to race? You want to race?
Yeah, I'll race you.
Alright. Alright, you gotta f*** him up, for real. F*** him up. Go, 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 go. Dude, we got it! We got it! Oh, she comes, dude! You should get it! Oh, shit! No! Oh, hell no, dude! Shit! Shit! Turn off the phone, dude! Oh, hell no! My rims! Shit! Oh, hell no, dude. I knew this was a bad idea, Wade. Where's my other rims at? Tell me they're okay, dude. No, I cannot do this shit right now, dude. Oh, hell no! So we gotta call my dad. We gotta call my dad, dude. My rims!
We talking about practice.
You're listening to a Fly Science Productions podcast. Welcome to Stream the Machine.
The jazz came really loud there. Welcome everybody to Stream the Machine, episode 37. Gotta get my podcast position here. No, I was looking up failed drifting videos yesterday, and it wasn't really a drifting video, but it was a video of a dude like sitting in the passenger seat recording on his phone, and he tries to race, you know, these freaking chicks, I guess, that he knew, and then just gets pwned when he tries to slow down on a curb and crushes, just rips the rims right off his car. It's pretty funny.
My rims!
It's so funny. And now, thanks to that,
My rims!
we have that on. We have that on standby for any time that situation is going to apply, as well as this one from last week.
We talking about practice.
Not a game. Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. Just getting off to a good start. Good vibes today. Could be because it's the Christmas season. We're always in good. Does that jazz still seems kind of loud to me? It's like overpowering.
Have you, off top? Well, I guess kind of on topic. Going back to the topic.
Okay.
Have you seen the Boom Headshot video? The guy playing Counter Strike.
You know what? It does sound
boom
familiar.
Headshot.
It does sound familiar. I'm gonna have to pull that.
That dude sounds like the guy saying "My rims."
My rims!
Boom headshot.
It sounds like the same dude. The entire time, that's all.
Probably.
I think
They
of.
both
The
sound
guy.
like they're douchebags. Anyways, all right. So, first things first. We'll get the nitty gritty out of the way. Leave us reviews on iTunes if you like us. If you don't like us, go to iTunes. And why does that, dude? I swear that jazz is getting louder every second.
It's a crescendo.
Dude, it totally is. No, something's getting messy here. Because, hold on, dude, for real. Hold on. Why is that? Whether I have it on full or whether I have it turned down, it's still loud as hell. That's so weird. Hold on. Am I doing something weird? Is there something weird going on here?
Sure. There might be.
iTunes,
From the computer.
get your shit in gear, iTunes. Come on. This is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to have this problem. Alright, well, we're going to go with it. If the loud jazz happens, which it surely is, hopefully it's not that big of a deal. If you're listening in, and the jazz sounds overpowering at any point, send me a message on Facebook or whatever. Text me, and I will figure it out. I will kill the jazz if I have to. I think I'm going to have to kill the jazz at some point, but we're going to continue on for now. Oh my god, it's loud. No Ross again today. Ross, he's out of town, and he's like, you know what? F that jazz. I don't want to hear that stuff playing so loudly over the podcast, so, no, but Ross is out of town, and he's regretful he couldn't be here with us. I think he's actually in North Carolina. He's completely out of state, so there wasn't much that we could do about actually getting him to play on the show. I'm going to restart iTunes. I'm sorry. It's bothering me. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell us about your Christmas while you're doing this. Or you want me to... Yeah,
Christmas?
just tell us about your Christmas. Multitask.
Okay, so it's back up. Hold on. Oh, now we're getting... Hold on, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's still doing it. I don't know what's going on, but it's pissing me off. I can't deal with it. Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna pull one ear off and see if I can focus here.
Nope.
I can't. I'm turning it off. I can't. We're gonna have a jazzless show, and it sucks because I love that jazz, but I can't figure it out.
Your dream came true, dude.
Ah, damn it. Oh well. Alrighty. Well, we're gonna have our first jazzless show through the beginning here. No, Ross, I already said that. Christmas is come and gone. That's the next thing I wanted to say. So we had Christmas last week. Well, actually, technically still this week. It was on Thursday. And, Tony, since your story, well, hopefully, since your story for Christmas is probably going to be a little, maybe shorter than mine, go ahead and you start off. And you tell me how your Christmas was. How was your Christmas in the De Palma household?
Well, my parents wanted me to sleep out at their house, which is cool. It's a holiday. But we have my grandma from Missouri in town. So, which means I get the couch. In the living room where the Christmas tree's at. Didn't see Santa at all that entire night.
What a bummer.
He's
unexpected.
stealthy, man. He's stealthy.
He's been working on it. Did you know that there's like a NORAD thing? Like, they have on their website, it's like the Santa tracker, and you click on it and it just shows like a little digital image and it tells you where Santa's going to next, how long it's going to take him to get there. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's taking all that much effort to put together, but they actually have a tracker. So if you want to figure out where Santa's at and what he's doing, you can figure it out on the go. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, so I wake up Christmas morning and then basically just sat around waiting for my brother to wake up because he was off in his own thing. He was like, Christmas is Christmas. Right. I'm going to sleep in. Right. I was jealous because he actually got a bed with a memory topper, and I got a stupid couch.
Of course he did.
So of course he wants to sleep in. But then we just opened presents. My dad is one of the least prepared Christmas persons ever, I guess, gift wrapping wise.
Okay.
He pulls he pulls out a box, it's a cardboard box. It's not taped shut. It's just like folded shut, and it's just brown. And he just hands it to me, and it's like 1.5 by 1 foot and like 8 inches deep. So it's a pretty big box.
Right.
Open it in there. There's a hammer and it's 12-inch level. Just chilling at the bottom.
Nice. Very, very
it's like
practical.
It's handy. But it's a
nice
cool
gift. I would be okay with a hammer. Also a level.
He gets his tools every Christmas.
Nice. He's preparing it. You know what? I mean, shit, I'm not the kind of guy that really would ask for tools or anything like that, but getting tools, sure. It's always useful. You can find plenty of uses. And the time that you're going to hate yourself if you don't, look into tools or ever get them as a present is that first time something breaks or you need to put something up or whatever, and all of a sudden you're like, damn it, I don't have anything. Yep. So,
yeah, and I'm pretty sure he was just tired of us borrowing his tools and losing them or leaving them out. So he's like, I'm getting your own so you don't touch mine.
Yeah, so Rachel's out of town. I took her on Christmas morning. Her parents wanted her back for Christmas, so she flew back for Christmas, and she's actually in Illinois right now. No idea if she's even listening to the show. She generally doesn't listen to the show because she's right next door. She's like usually right over here trying to work while I'm trying to be funny, and so I would be interested in knowing whether or not she's actually listening in today since she's not here. But I'm going to vote with probably not. She's probably too busy. But she's home, and so Thursday morning, wake up, tried to stay up all night because I had to get her up to the airport about 5 o'clock in the morning. And so we're like powerhousing through because she's not going to sleep. And I can't do it. So at 4 o'clock, 3:30, I decide I'm going to bed. And so I lay down, wake back up at 5 o'clock, incredibly miserable. She drives to the airport. We say our goodbyes, drive back, come home, boom, sleeping. Now I have the day off, so I'm just kind of like whatever. I don't want to sleep all day because I also have work coming up the next day. And if I sleep all day and then have, you know, I'm going to be awake at night. And I don't want that to happen, not for a day of work. And so I wake up probably around 11 o'clock, play games all day, eat, you know, do all your normal stuff. And then comes around like 8 o'clock and I'm like dead tired. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to sleep. I'm going to try and powerhouse through like 8 to 8 a.m. and try to just get a ton of sleep. And I don't. I go to about midnight and I'm like, all right, cool. Well, so I stay up. I'm gaming a little bit. And I'm getting ready to go to bed, okay? It's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning right now, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, cool. I can get a couple hours more sleep. I've already gotten plenty of sleep today, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. This will be great. And we've had, I mean, you've heard it on the show before. At least I've talked about it. We've had an issue with something in the attic before, like a mouse or something, right? And, you know, sometimes you'll hear that, you know, just little scratches on the whatever, and you're like, oh, that sounds like it could be a mouse or a rat or whatever. It sounds harmless because it's just like, you know, just little tiny scrapes and scratches. Well, recently it's been getting really bad. Like, you can like really hear it, and you can hear it over. So so her office is over here, and up top there's a little tiny, probably maybe that big door that leads into the attic. I don't even know how you get up there. Like, because I can't fit through there. That's for sure as hell. So, you know, but it's an attic door, and it's above everything, and she's been kind of freaking out lately because you can hear the thing, like, crawling on it and trying to scratch through the attic door. And so we're like, damn, he's, like, progressed. He knows now that that's the way to get in. But it's a mouse, right? So we're like, forget it. It's a mouse. Who cares? Well, Thursday night, I'm chilling here. It's Christmas. Didn't really do anything Christmassy, which is totally fine. Have no problem with that whatsoever. And just kind of relaxing, getting ready to go to bed. Like, damn, it's 5 o'clock, ready to sleep. And all of a sudden, I hear I can't even explain it, really. But I hear something above me that sounds like the crinkling of, like, a plastic bag. It's just like, and it sounds like it's in the room. And I'm like, what the? Like, looking around, and I can't explain what I thought it was or whatever, but nothing. There's nothing. And all of a sudden I hear a little scurrying, runs over to the door, and then, like, as if and I swear, as if someone was taking a rock and just hitting the attic door, just pounding on it. Now, not like super hard, not just like bam, you know, like I thought there was a human up there, which I did at one point. But it was hitting it, and I'm like, what the? I'm, like, kind of freaking out now, because I'm, like, super tired, so I'm already kind of tripping. And I hear it, and I'm like, wow, that's really uncomfortable and loud. And, it stops, and I hear it kind of scurry back, and then almost like he grabbed, whatever it is. I'm assuming it's a raccoon up there. But he grabs it, and then runs back to the door, and starts pounding on the freaking door again. And so I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, it's not a mouse. It's got to be a raccoon or a leopard or some kind of mountain lion. Like, it's got to be something huge up there, right? Well, I, in my infinite wisdom, had my door shut, and I'd left Rachel's open because I'm like, I wasn't thinking that anything was going to get through. And I left my door shut. And I'm just kind of chilling in here because it heats up the room. Usually I'll leave the door shut if I'm in by myself, and it helps keep everything heated because I have a radiator in here. And all of a sudden, I think that I hear, and this is how, like, freaking I am. I'm, like, almost positive I hear something fall and scurry outside my door. And I'm like, oh, shit. It's in the house. I'm done. It's in the house. So I'm thinking, like, at this point, I'm really freaking out. I'm like, what if that was a person? What if there was, like, a homeless dude up there that decided he wanted to break in and steal some Christmas cookies or something? Like, I'm in big trouble. So I look around. I legit consider calling the police because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if that's a guy out there or if it's a mouse that just broke into my house. I don't have any clue. I look around, no phone. I left it on my charger in the other room, which is between me and whatever imaginary creature I think is outside. And I can't find my rave pole, like the bar from the door that I used to imagine that I will beat people with. I can't find it. So, long story short, I get my like camera tripod. I like extend it as far as I can, and I open the door and I kind of use it like a lion tamer. And nothing. I looked. I like look up. The door's closed. I look everywhere. I don't see any raccoons or any animals or anythings. He banged on the door, I think, for about another 15 minutes. Like, overall, I think about 30, 45 minutes had passed with him just kind of banging on the door and then disappeared between 5 and 6, and then he was gone. And Rachel had been complaining about it, saying it was getting louder every night. And I was just like, you're just imagining things. You're just imagining things. And after Christmas night, I was like, I legitimately considered sleeping in my car because I did not want to sleep in a house where I thought something was going to break in. So I took the doors. She has 2 little doors that fold shut, and they don't latch, but they've got 2 handles on them. I took the doors, I shut them, I found a rod, and I jammed it through the handles, so if anything fell down in there, then they couldn't get out, and that they would be locked in. And the landlord came yesterday. He went up there and set a trap. I don't know what kind of trap he set. Hopefully it's big enough to catch something. I was like, if it's a mouse trap, you're not going to catch a raccoon. But, and then he said he would seal any holes if he saw any holes up there, because we don't know how a raccoon got in there. We know before we had issues with actually having a hole in the roof that led into the attic, and then I think he tried sealing that up before, so I imagine he probably just tried to reseal it up again.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah? Rocket Raccoon just trying to get me to watch. Yep. I did find a copy of Guardians of the Galaxy sitting outside my door, and there's just a little note on it and raccoon scratch, but it was a horrible experience. I was fairly traumatized. I woke up the next day feeling incredibly exhausted, and just I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, what happened last night? Like, what went on that just ruined my life? And I don't know. But so then last night, I didn't hear a thing. Now, I didn't stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning. I was only up till about 1, but I didn't hear anything scurrying or scratching or nothing. So hopefully,
good.
Hopefully he's gone for good. But yeah, so Rachel's gone. She's gone till probably next Friday, I think. Because I think the day she was going to come back, I was going to be gone for work, which is true of next Friday. But now, much more exciting than that story is snowboarding. Tell me about snowboarding.
Oh, yeah. We're going up to, me, my roommates, and a couple other of our buddies are going up to Wisconsin to Devil's Head Resort. Mm-hmm. It's a big skiing, snowboarding place. We're leaving Monday morning and getting back like Wednesday afternoon before New Year's. Cool. But they all went last year, but last year I just couldn't swing it. I just didn't have the money for it, so I stayed back. But this year we're staying 2 nights, which will be pretty fun. We're probably not going to snowboard all the 3rd day, but it'll just be nice to sleep there, get everything going, then drive back. But the last time I was at this place, I got a concussion.
Oh boy!
So
that's not good.
So hopefully it's my redemption.
I've never snowboarded before. It's a
lot of fun.
It sounds like it. Oh, okay. I lied. I kind of snowboarded. It literally was me in a backyard at my buddy's house, and I snapped on the thing, and I couldn't get any momentum going downhill, and that was it. I was just like, oh, and it's like that thing where you're like, whoosh, whoosh, like trying to get yourself going. And nothing really happened. That was my experience with snowboarding. Sounds crazy. That's something that I would want to try. Surfing, no thanks. Seems like it'd be too hard. Skateboarding, no, I'd probably break my face. I mean, I've seen Scarred. I know how shit happens. Snowboarding, fall in some snow. Okay, I'll give it a shot. That'd be awesome. I feel like it'd be a lot of fun.
But yeah, it was our senior year. It was where we went for our senior trip. We just took a day trip up there.
Right.
And like the second run of the day, I wasn't very good at snowboarding. It had been like one time before.
Right.
So I could stay up, but I wasn't good at carving.
Okay.
Which is how people control their speed. I just went straight down the hill.
That's probably what I would do.
I beelined it from the top to the bottom.
Right.
And I was going as fast as possible just because I wasn't comfortable in slowing down.
Right.
I was more comfortable in just standing still, maintaining my speed,
gosh.
cruising. So like the second run, where like there's a bunch of us on like a black diamond, which really isn't that bad if like you're careful. But because I wasn't good at carving and like moving real quick, we come to a point near the top where there's a giant ramp in the middle and then two smaller pathways on either side. And I'm on this left side. I guess to you it looks like I'm on the right, but I'm on this side going down. And my roommate just a friend, like one of my buddy Michael Damron. You know Damron, right?
I do know Michael.
He's my roommate now. And he's on the left side, and I'm like, I'm either going to run into him or I'm going to have to. We move over into the ramp because I didn't trust myself enough to like carve around him.
Right.
So I was like, well, I hit a little one on the bunny hill. I was like, I'll crash, but I'll be fine. So I hit it, and it's a lot bigger than it looked from my side.
I'm sure.
And I go up, and I'm like, whoop, 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 flip up, and then comes down on my head.
Ooh.
It
Ouch.
Was a little rough. Michael was freaking out.
That sounds pretty awful. Pretty hardcore.
It hurt. Like, and I sat there for a few minutes. Michael was like, dude, are you okay, man? I was like, what? He's like, are you okay? So like, I stood there and like moved my fingers, moved my toes, made sure like I could move everything. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like I started to get up. He's like, dude, stay down, man. We'll get you help. I was like, I'm not getting carted off the mountain. The second run of our senior trip, I will get down off this mountain myself. I mean, it took me like half an hour because I would go for a little bit and then I'd just stop and I'd be like, this really hurts. Because I was just out of it.
Oh, that's funny. Actually, we have a clip of Tony here as he was getting up and realized the damage.
My rims!
That was after he... after he made the concussion. And actually, you know, we do have instructions here for how you're supposed to effectively snowboard.
Elbows out, hands up high, elbows out,
Yep.
hands up
Just
high.
like that. It sounds like a crazy trip. I don't even remember what we did for our senior trip. You know what? Hold on. So, I probably didn't go. It was probably like Six Flags or something, and I think I probably skipped out. I can't even remember. I'm not much of a rides guy, so I would have definitely skipped out on Six Flags.
Sure.
Then the 8th grade trip was always supposed to be Washington, D.C., but we were supposed to fund it ourselves, like through like selling candy bars and shit. And our class was, I think, the first class that did not make enough money to go.
Really?
And we got yelled at by the teachers because they called us the most lethargic class because they were like, you don't even care. You don't even want to go. And we were like, at that point in my life, I think I'd already been to Washington, D.C. 4 times or something like that. It was like 3 or 4 times because my dad used to have business trips out there. So like once a year for a couple years, we'd go out, spend a week or however many days in Washington, D.C., come back. And he was just like going to these conferences and stuff. And so I'd kind of already seen all there was to see. You know, dad would go to these conferences, and of course I'm however many years old and don't really have much of a choice in anything. And my mom would say, hey, you want to go walk around for 8 hours? No? Come on! And then we'd go and we'd walk and visit everything, and I'd be like, I just want to watch TV and play my Game Boy. And I couldn't. But yeah, that was Washington, D.C. So by the time 8th grade came around, I wasn't even going to go anyways. Like, I didn't plan on going to that trip. I had denied it. I think my parents really didn't like want to shell out the money either, because I'd already been there 4 times. What's there to see on the 5th? Like you're going to go there with friends, sure, but the White House is still there. Everything's pretty much the same. But yeah, so it was kind of funny.
Speaking of the White House, not really White House, but the interview and all that debacle.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this last week. We talked about and actually last week I think there was no plans to release it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the last time we talked about it, there was absolutely no plan by Sony. They flip-flopped so much on this whole thing. They said that nope, we're not going to release it. We're not going to release it on video on demand. We're not going to release it in theaters. Probably not even going to release it on DVD and Blu-ray. And then what do this week? They drop it on YouTube and they put it on, I think, just streaming apps in general. I think on like if you go to Xbox or PlayStation Store, I think you might have been able to stream it.
Funny thing is, you could on Xbox, but there wasn't a native thing to stream it on PlayStation, which is Sony's own console.
That's interesting.
Which I am curious as to it's either they just goofed up or they're like, you know what? There's going to be a lot of traffic from people playing games that they got on Christmas. Let's just push all that bandwidth and data onto our competitors to help bog down their services.
That's true. That is true. Now, I do want to make one distinction that was made to me this week that I kind of didn't think about. When we talk about Sony and the interview in general, being the movie, that is Sony Entertainment of America or whatever the like film company is. I don't know how much of a connection that really has with the Japanese company Sony Entertainment that does the games and the PlayStation console and everything like that. So it could be a thing where Japanese CEO is like, I'm washing my hands clean of this. This is your deal. You want to release the interview?
It's true.
You deal with that shit. I'm not putting that on my console. Freaking, I live right next to Kim Jong-un. Who knows? I mean, there's really no telling. But I did think it was interesting because I didn't think about that before. We just hear Sony, and that's what we call it. Well, it's a division of Sony, so technically it could be. I mean, I'm almost positive it's probably run by some dude over here in the West. So the guys in the East may not even want to deal with this. They, like I said, Korea is also a lot closer to them.
It's true.
Have you seen the movie yet?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad you have because I haven't. And most people probably would have assumed I didn't. I am hesitant I don't want to say hesitant to watch it. I'm not hesitant to watch it. I'm unsure if I want to watch it because I feel like, when we came on the show, when we started doing the show, one thing really changed that I didn't really expect, at least for me. I don't know if it's the same for you, but I started to pay attention to news more. And I started to pay attention to just current topics. And I'm always looking at, just funny shit. Like, just news and just weird, funny things happening. Because I'm always like, that could be good for the show. And there are times when I feel obligated for the sake of, coming on here and talking about it, to do something. And in this case, I have considered actually watching the interview, even though I am positive it's something that I'm most likely not going to enjoy. But I almost want to watch it just so I can either come on here and talk shit about it, or so I can just be like, I've seen it and I have an opinion and whatever. I will say, I saw the clip of Eminem's scene when he talks to James Franco, and that was hilarious. Now, I thought Franco was absolutely obnoxious during that scene, and he kind of irritated me. But Eminem himself, for those of you who don't plan, and I don't think it's a big part of the movie, but who don't plan on seeing it, basically Eminem in the movie, the interview, not in an actual interview, in the movie, comes out and says that he's gay, and says that the entire time that he's been writing lyrics, he's like, I've been dropping little gay breadcrumbs. The whole scene is actually really, really funny, because Eminem always comes off as a super serious character, and in the movie,
he's still super serious as he says all this.
Like, and they're, the entire time they're like, so gay can mean a lot of things. You mean it? And he's like, oh, I'm a homo. I'm a homosexual. And just, it's really funny.
And by that you mean, I like that.
It was, I mean, that scene honestly was I'm glad I saw that scene. Now, again, from what little I saw of Rogan and Franco, it seemed about on par from what I would have expected from the rest of the movie. And so I'm a little hesitant again to watch it because I'm like, I don't know. Now that I've prefaced that and told you why I haven't seen it yet, what are your thoughts after saying it? Not on like any kind of political level, but what are your thoughts on the entertainment value of the interview? Did you enjoy it? And, did the hype kill it all? Did it make it better? Give me your thoughts.
I think the hype helped it because it was not that good of a movie. I would be honest. I mean, it's a comedy movie, so
right.
If it makes me laugh, I'll mark it and succeeded. Mm-hmm. And it did make me laugh a couple times, but it still wasn't all that great. It wasn't that great of a movie.
Yeah, I was worried about that. We had talked about it for how long now? Such a big thing.
So I watched it with my roommates. They're just like, we're going to take it to North Korea.
Yeah,
just
take
watch
this
it.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. I was like, Dan, we're about to watch the movie Kim Jong-un does not want you to see. But I can see why Kim Jong-un in North Korea would be a little upset about it. Because obviously, spoiler alert, they kill Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if anyone was surprised about that one, where have you been? But
yeah. But no, I'm going to straight up say it. I pirated it.
Okay.
I pirate movies.
You know what? Honestly, they released, I think, in a multitude of formats for both rental and I think it's on YouTube for free. I could be wrong. Maybe it's rental on YouTube.
No, it's rental on YouTube for like anywhere you go. It's rental for $6, own for $15.
Okay, I was gonna say because I thought maybe it was free in some places, in which case pirating wasn't that big of a deal. But who cares about this movie?
Yeah, like I pirate. I'm not gonna lie, but if there's something I like, I will go out and buy it. And if I want to support it,
right,
I will buy it. Like I have a collection of like 40 some Blu-rays. I mean, I have a lot of movies on my computer, but the ones I actually like, I will go out and buy a physical copy of it.
Absolutely.
Same with music, and same with TV shows. So, yes, I pirated the movie because I didn't want to shell out $6 for a mediocre movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just because I was cheap. But, see, I don't know. It was okay. If you don't like Seth Rogen, if you don't like James Franco's Seth Rogen team-up movies, you will not like it, probably.
Yeah, I didn't figure.
Because, like, that obnoxiousness of James Franco throughout the whole movie.
He was real bad in that scene. Not bad as in a bad actor, just really obnoxious. I mean, his facial, his I don't know. But it was actually worse than I expected. When I saw it, I was like, whoa, he is on 11. Like, is this what it really is? And I assume that, he's meant to be playing, sort of a almost satirical look on media. I read a review or two, and they talked about how it at times dips into satire. And, of course, satire is always meant to be sort of exaggerated and sort of be to what's the word? Poke fun at something that generally is to be taken seriously, like media and whatever. So I get it. Like it's part satire, part just straight up stupid comedy. But I don't know if the satire would have been enough to make me enjoy those two, unfortunately. It has nothing to do with them in particular. It has to do with them and me, and just me not being a huge fan of it. But yeah, so it's been a big thing. I've seen some people post about it on Facebook. I think the general consensus, I know a lot of people I think thought it was pretty funny. You're gonna find that from everybody. People who think it is, you really get three groups from a situation like this. You get the people who see it and aren't tainted by the hype and go, "Oh, that was okay, I guess." Like we waited for that. Then you get the other people who see it and actually love it. And then you get people who see it and don't really love it, but were hyped so much that they don't want to say they didn't love it, because then they feel like they're like letting themselves down. So they're like, "Oh, yeah, it was hilarious, dude, but it wasn't really. So, yeah, I don't know.
Like The Hobbit. Like people are like, oh, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I loved all the Hobbits.
Right.
Like, no, if you're a real Lord of the Rings fan, you would have hated all the Hobbits.
Yeah,
so now I'm curious to see, because this is really the first movie that's released in select theaters and online, like at the same time.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how they do financially. I know it grossed $1 million the opening day, but I mean it was only in like 300 some theaters,
right,
compared to like 3,000.
I have no idea what the budget is, but I'm sure it's. I would be impressed if they made their budget back. If they legitimately make their budget, back after all of this with a limited release, I mean that'd be damn impressive. Yeah. Speaking of, go ahead.
Go ahead. There you go.
Well, it's not really changing the subject too much, but we were talking about same day releases. They are doing that with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2. I don't know if we talked about that, but Netflix will be dropping that on the same day that it goes into theaters. That said, I will be seeing that in the theater.
Yeah.
I will not. The day it comes out, you cannot convince me on a movie like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, unless it's just pure awful, which hopefully it wouldn't be. The first movie is one of the greatest movies of all time. And to see it in IMAX and everything like that, sure, I'll pay $17 for that, you know? And versus sitting at home and watching it for free, hell yeah. And, you know, maybe it's different having worked at a theater, and, like, I think we understand the experience that you get with a theater. A lot of people would say, why did you pay money to go see when you could wait 3 months? You know, it's like, there are certain things that you cannot recreate by watching it at home, you know? When I saw Cloverfield in the theater, I saw it, I loved it. There were people in the audience, chicks screaming because shit was coming at the screen and scaring people and all this crazy stuff, huge screen, loud speakers everywhere. And it finally comes out on DVD. I'm like, oh my God, I love Cloverfield. Let's go get it. I mean, I go and buy it, and I get home, and I, like, a friend or two are over or something. I can't even remember. And I pop it in, we watch it, and I'm like, damn, that was underwhelming. Like, it was worth seeing at the theater. And watching it at home was not near as good if you couldn't watch it on a big screen TV, which at the time I don't think I had, and on a loud sound system. Like, you know, there are certain movies that are just, you know, if it's going to be visual, if it's going to be whatever, sure, you can watch it on a tiny screen, but like, there's a reason the theater is there, and you know, part of it's to make money and profit off of you, and then the other part of it is legitimately to provide an experience, because there's one way you can experience that is going to be the best way, and that's going to be while it's in theaters. So,
like, I feel like the same could be said for Gravity.
Yes,
like, that was a visually stunning movie, and the audio was amazing. But I cannot imagine seeing that. Like, I saw it in IMAX,
right? And
I cannot imagine watching that on just like your regular TV. Like,
right.
It just wouldn't be the same.
Agreed.
Unless you're like,
you're trying to really get in there and got your headphones on while you're watching. Yeah. So now, whether or not that was the experience for the interview, you know, does it make a difference whether or not you see it on your computer at home or if you watch it in the theaters? Who knows? But I don't know.
Yeah, but what we were talking about the budget.
Yes.
And I was just going to say, I read somewhere that I think they spent $40 million on the actual filming, then 60 on like marketing and advertisements for it. So like
100 mils kind of a bit, right? I think because big CGI movies are somewhere around 200 mil. So you're saying that it's, I mean, I'm trying to think of something for comparison.
Let's see.
I don't even know what really to compare.
I know
to.
Avengers was like $250 million.
See, that was a big CGI thing, though. This one, I don't know how much CGI they had except for like Kim Jong-un's head exploding.
I mean, okay, it said $44 million budget. It might just be total.
If it's total, that's, I guess, not too bad, especially considering payouts to the actors. I mean, I guess your only two really big names are probably Rogan and Franco, but
okay, maybe it was just 44. I don't know where I got the 60.
Making it up in your head.
Apparently, maybe I just wanted to make it an even 100. Okay, but I think they'll make a lot of money off of digital sales.
Probably. There's a lot of people.
Maybe not enough to like bridge that gap, but I mean, you gotta think on top of like sales, like people buying the movie, they actually get like, I'm guessing they'll get some sort of ad revenue through YouTube and all that, because like when you have a YouTube channel and you get a bunch of views, you get ad revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they would get a little bit of ad revenue to add on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good chance that it's going to make its stuff back, just because that's what Americans do. We hear the hype and we go, oh my God, I have to see that. And especially
I'm un-American, man.
You know, especially in something like this. A lot of people like Rogan and Franco. Just because I don't doesn't mean that they're a bad duo. It doesn't mean that their comedies are unfunny or anything like that. So it's, you know, why wouldn't someone watch it? You know, if you weren't me, of course you'd go see it, because you'd be like, oh, those guys are hilarious. So, yes, that's exciting. Well, you know, we'll follow up more next week if we know anything else. If we know, actually by next week we probably should know, because this would have been probably the first weekend that it had, you know, box office numbers, so we can know.
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll get box office numbers for the week.
Right.
I guess for the weekend.
We can follow up and see what it's projected and all that kind of good stuff. Well, that brings us to our news, and I actually do have some articles for us today. Not as many as usual, but here we go.
404 error. Page not found.
Sure is an interesting show without any jazz in the background. I'm hoping that I can fix this for next episode. Hotels petition the FCC to limit personal Wi-Fi hotspots. Hotel Wi-Fi is generally regarded as the Wi-Fi of last resort for many people, as the busy and sometimes under-supported networks don't always provide the same speeds and security consumers can get using personal hotspots. Personal hotspot, for anyone who doesn't know, is using your phone to broadcast a signal. It's like basically turning your phone into a router. You get that data that comes down, and you turn it into Wi-Fi.
Magic.
But a petition filed by the American Hotel and Lodging Association with the Federal Communications Commission seeks to limit consumer use of personal hotspots under the auspices of safety. In a petition to the FCC, the AHLA points to practices such as access point spoofing, injection of malicious software, and other attacks to bolster its case to halt personal hotspot use in hotels. Let me see if I can see. It's a little bit longer. The AHLA points to other problems it sees with personal hotspots, including unwanted radio frequency interference. Quote, unauthorized access points, can hinder the ability of meeting or convention attendees to access hotel provided Wi-Fi. The petition reads, the hotel thing worries that this interference leads to customers wrongly interpreting the poor quality of the hotel-provided network resting solely on the hotel itself, which then could lead to unhappy customers demanding refunds. The petition comes in the wake of the SEC decision against Marriott Hotels, which was ordered to pay $600,000 in fines for the FCC for violating Section 333 of the Communications Act. An investigation by the agency determined that the hotel used a monitoring system to block access to personal hotspots while simultaneously charging customers as much as $1,000 per device to access Marriott's network. There's other stuff in here that isn't entirely important. It points out two things here. It says, on the one hand, owners of a personal hotspot should have the right to use their devices. You have a phone, you pay for the service, you should be able to access it. However, the hotel owners should be able to control what radio signals are being broadcast within the confines of their property. They pay taxes, they pay, whatever. It's not rent, but they pay, whatever, the upkeep to keep their place legit. And now you have someone that's technically, using and broadcasting something to the public inside your hotel that could possibly, they mention the malicious malware software and other things like that could potentially mess with other customers and give the false impression that is the hotel itself messing with it. What are your thoughts on this of hotel? Because why do people use their hotspot? They're using the hotspot because the hotel internet sucks. It's been the case. It's been the case for every hotel you ever go to. It's awful, and it cuts out. And depending on what room you're in, it's almost always Wi-Fi. I don't even know if you can get wired hotel access anymore. I'm
not sure.
But so you want to use your hotspot, and now the hotel is saying, "Sir, you can't use your hotspot on your phone." What are your thoughts on this? Yay or nay? Do you think people should be allowed to use their hotspot? Or do you think that it's reasonable for the hotels? I guess I'll start this off just to say, because we kind of usually pick middle of the ground things here. I will say that when I first read this, I saw it as hotels just trying to capitalize on a possible money gain, because you do have to pay for the internet usage, I believe. I don't know how many hotels, and it's possible that there's some, but I don't know how many consider it like inclusive to use their Wi-Fi. It's been a long time since I've actually been to a hotel and used the internet, but it said even here that it was charging as much as $1,000 per device to access the Marriott networks, Marriott Hotels Wi-Fi network. It's a lot of money.
Seems super steep.
It does. So what do you think here? What do you think about should they on their premise be able to limit your ability to use a personal hotspot because you don't think their internet is fast enough or good enough? Assuming that you're not using it for malicious acts, but they don't know that.
All the hotels I've had to is like Wi-Fi is like just free.
Is it? Okay.
You just call the front desk for Wi-Fi. So I don't see this much as a like trying to cash in on people using their Wi-Fi. Although I don't know what, maybe Marriott hotels are different. I mean, I've only been in like cheaper hotels,
right?
Because I'm a baller on a budget. But I do kind of see where they're coming from. Like if someone is doing malicious stuff, then I can see like they don't want them doing it on their property, because I mean, people do shady stuff in hotels.
Yeah, that was
possible.
That was one of the first things I thought. Why do you get a hotel? It's for a couple of reasons, but I would say at least half. Well, maybe not at least half, but a good portion of it, 25% at least, I would say, is probably because you're trying to do something in secret. Hotels are weird places, man. They give off a weird vibe. Every person I see, I just assume is doing something that they shouldn't be, and that's why we're all here. So we're all checking into this. It's like the that Hitman Hotel from frickin' John Wick, where everyone checks in and no one really asks their names or anything like that. They all accept the fact that while we're here, we're doing dirty shit. But I don't know.
But you can't do it in the building.
Yes.
But so I don't think it should be a big deal. I think people should use their hotspots where they want to use their hotspots.
I've never actually used my hotspot because it costs. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure how it works. I assume that it costs money per data usage while you're connected. If you don't have an unlimited data plan.
Yeah. See, I had one when I had unlimited data, but not through Verizon.
Okay.
Since I had a jailbroken phone, there's an app called MyWi.
Okay.
Which was like a one-time, like $15, but then like you can turn a hotspot on at any time, which was super handy because 4G is pretty fast, and they had both like a hotspot feature and then they had a USB tether, which is what I used. I just plugged my phone in to the computer and surfed the internet through that.
Interesting.
So, but now that I don't have unlimited data, I don't want to do that and suck all my data away. So
I was trying to think, like what this does not really apply to me whatsoever because I've never used it. I probably never will use it. Now my father, I remember when he moved down to Arkansas, all he used was tethering or mobile hotspot. Yeah. Like when he first, because he also had unlimited data, but when he moved in and watched Netflix, that's what he did, was he set up his phone and then turned on his computer. And, I mean, that's how he got his internet. And he would get, you know, like a 20 gigabyte monthly usage type of deal and just crazy amounts of data, if not more than that. And, yeah, I don't know. It's impressive to me that it's actually that big of a thing, you know, that many people are using it. How many people have unlimited data plans anymore? It's, you know,
not a lot.
Especially, you know, because, well, at least in Peoria, everything's changed a little bit now, but in Peoria, it used to feel like we were kind of 50-50 between like U.S. Cellular and Verizon. I knew a lot of people that had U.S. Cellular, and I knew quite a few people, about the same amount of people that had Verizon. Nowadays, almost everyone has Verizon. I think U.S. Cellular is kind of maybe not phasing out, but I think that the people are not using it as much because it's not nearly as fast as Verizon. Their phone selection is not nearly as good, or at least wasn't when I switched over. A lot of people out here on the East Coast, I've noticed, are using T-Mobile. I don't know if people back home are doing that, but I don't think anybody in Peoria that used T-Mobile. You know, it was, and given it's also been 2 years since I've been in Peoria, so there's been a lot of time for people to change plans. But out here, T-Mobile's like a great deal for people. They don't have to sign contracts. They get, you know, unlimited. I think you can get unlimited data. They also are a kind of people where you have unlimited data, but once you use up like 2 gigabytes of 3G/4G, it kicks you down to 2G for the rest of the month. And right, so it's, I don't really know, but yeah, I was more surprised that this was an issue, that you have that many people coming in and using hotspots. I've known one person use a hotspot in my life, and that was my dad. I've never known anyone else to be like, oh, let me kick on my hotspot real quick. So, I don't know. It's interesting, for sure. But anything that involves internet and FCC, especially with just recent topics in general. This next article we have here is somewhat interesting if anyone's been following any kind of movie news. Justin Lin is set to direct Star Trek 3. And you might be asking yourself, well, who the hell's that guy? Where's J.J. Abrams? Well, Justin Lin... actually, I'll just read the article here. A new director has been found for Star Trek 3, and it's Justin Lin. Lin, who has had huge success directing several Fast and Furious films, will take over for Star Trek 3 after the departure of Roberto Orci from the director's chair. Orci was one of... So Abrams had like 2 buddies that he always did stuff with. Roberto Orci was one of them, and I can't think of the other guy's name. Dan... Is it Dan something? I don't remember. But Abrams, like, he had 2 guys that they worked with together on Lost, and then they worked with together on
Alex Kurtzman.
Yes, that might be it. And I'm pretty sure they're kind of been a trio. You had Abrams heading stuff up, and then you always had Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman sort of working on things in the background, kind of almost like Master and frickin' Padawan. Use Star Wars terms here. Just sort of, helping him train him. But, so Orci, I don't think he's departed the entire project, but he is no longer directing Star Trek 3, which was of some concern to some people, seeing as he would have been the closest sort of connection to Abrams' style, probably having worked with Abrams on, plenty of previous, projects. Deadline broke the news on Lin's Star Trek hiring, noting that it was possible because he had an opening in his schedule after the Bourne Legacy sequel he was set to make with Jeremy Renner got put on the back burner. And after Paul Greengrass and Matt Damon agreed to redo... so why is this about the Bourne movie? We don't care about that. While other directors' names have been mentioned as possibilities for Star Trek 3, Deadline says they hear Lin was the only one who had actually been offered the film. Deadline reports that Universal had been discussing the possibility of Lin returning to the Fast and Furious series, because he did not direct the newest one, Fast and Furious 7, for what's been described as a multi-part finale, but it's not clear if him signing on to do Star Trek will mean that wouldn't be possible schedule-wise. With the replacement for Orci, who remains as the film producer, the replacement needed Star Trek 3 was on a rush times table, as Paramount wants the film out in 2016 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the original TV series. Star Trek somehow feels older than 50 years, but it apparently isn't. So I'm not particularly thrilled about this, but I wasn't really thrilled with J.J. Abrams working on Star Trek in the first place. So, whether or not this will make the actual, I don't know if I want to call it a series, really, I guess it is, but if it will make the movie series any worse, any better than it was before. Have you seen the Star Trek films? I'm talking about the new ones?
Star Trek and then Star Trek Into Darkness.
Okay. What did you...
That's the extent to my Star Trek.
What did you think? Well, okay. So what did you think of those? Having seen those and having known, like, Star Trek's kind of a, sci-fi nerd thing, and then you saw the movies, what was your general opinion on it?
I liked them. But, I mean, I like all those space, like space movies and all that nerdy stuff, I guess. But, I mean... I don't really see them as nerdy anymore. Like they've become more mainstream. Like stuff that used to be nerdy, like comic books, Star Trek, Star Wars, all that stuff is just like giant right now.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm like letting consumerism take over, but I enjoyed them. I mean, like the second one, there's some plot holes involved.
I haven't seen the second one, but I saw the first one. I remember at the time really enjoying it, actually, and being really thrilled. And then I watched it again in 2012, and at that point, I was also, after rewatching, I was disappointed because I realized that they had generalized Star Trek so much that it really didn't need to be Star Trek anymore. It could have been Star Adventure. You could have called it anything else and used different names, and the movie really would have been the same, there wasn't much, and this is, I mean, everyone knows me. I'm a freaking stickler, and I'm an ass, and so it bothered me that I didn't feel like it was, it is faithful to the original source. But that being said, why was Star Trek not, why had it dipped in popularity all these years? Because it probably was too far up its own ass doing its own thing. They probably needed to scale it back like this and say, here we go, J.J. Abrams, make this, the next thing that now kids can get into, and people who used to like Star Trek can say, hey, that's cool, there's a new movie, and they'll want to go see it. Of course you're going to get people like you who kind of dissent and are like, crap. Because it was good, but it was irritating to me that it was sort of riding the coattails of Star Trek. I would have preferred it, like I said, to just be a general space movie and start from there. Because the way that they started it up within the first 10 minutes of the first film, they basically hit. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. It happens very early on. The movie's from 2009. It's almost 5 years old now. It's almost 6 years old now. They hit like a time thing, so a split in time basically, and then the whole new movies are off on a new timeline. And what that does for people like J.J. Abrams is it allows them now to do anything they want because they don't have to. It's a new timeline. I don't have to stick to the old canon. And I get why he did it because you want creative leeway and creative freedom, I guess is what I'm looking for. And it's not going to ruffle everybody's feathers, but I didn't like the idea because I was like, damn, like what am I watching now? Because you're making a new Spock, you're making a new whatever, and there's definitely a degree of appreciation that can come from him saying, well, I'm not going to do what we did before, I'm going to try something different. But I don't know. For me, I was hoping for something a little more traditional. So, watching him kind of move over to Star Wars, that's kind of what I'm like worried Star Wars is going to become now. But having Justin Lin jump on for Star Trek 3, I'm kind of like, all right, it's about on par with what the other one was, Fast and Furious is just high-octane action. That's pretty much what it seems like Star Trek had become, which is not something you would have said of any of the prior television shows or movies. Like, oh, that movie's got so much crazy action in it, But maybe that's what it needed. Maybe it needed the adrenaline boost. So, I mean, I'll be interested in seeing where this goes as far as how much it differs from what Abrams has set up. Because he's already done the first two films, So if it's going to be a trilogy or if this is going to be... Because I've never even heard the mention of a Star Trek 4. So I don't know if this is going to be sort of where they cut off, and what do they do after this. But it'll be interesting to see how Justin Lin caps off the series here. We've had a lot of serious talk in the beginning of the show. Luckily, we have some articles now to play right here.
My rims!
This just in other news.
A human doesn't really look like a turkey in the woods.
That is true. Alrighty, here. Let's get these. Should have clicked this while we were loading up. Man accidentally sells a box spring containing a cat. Oops. Damn it. This multi-monitor thing is messing with me. An Oregon man said he was searching for his girlfriend's cat after he mistakenly sold a box spring that the feline was using as a hiding place. Roy DeFeck of Rock Creek said in a Reddit post, everyone goes to Reddit now. You can pretty much get anything solved on Reddit.
Pretty much.
You have a problem, you're like, damn it. You go to Reddit, do a post, boom. Wait a day, everything's done. He was selling 2-bed sets for his girlfriend while she was at work last week, and he did not realize until later that his girlfriend's cat, Camo, had apparently been hiding inside the box spring he strapped to the top of a buyer's car. Dufek, who was in the process of moving when he sold the items, said that the man who purchased the bed set allowed him to search his house, but there was no sign of Camo. The man said that he heard unusual noises while fixing the box spring to the top of his car. Dufek said his posts on Reddit and Craigslist have resulted in an outpouring of support and offers of assistance, but so far there have been no confirmed Camo sightings. Quote, people have told stories of their cat that was gone for a few months or a month and found the way home, so that gives us hope. The only issue is that we do not live in that apartment anymore.
I think that cat's a goner.
Bummer, man.
Honestly.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really like cats at all, but I don't like cats because I'm allergic. If I wasn't allergic, I think I would feel better about them. But seeing as every time I see one, it makes me miserable because of the allergies. There's not much I can do about it. Although this cat does look kind of cute here. Let me see. I'm gonna Skype this too. It's got him in his little Christmas costume. It almost looks like. But yeah,
it doesn't look like he likes it. No, lie. He's like, what did you put on me?
What cat likes anything, and especially when they're getting their picture taken?
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, so cat's fault, really? Why would you? Cats do stupid things, man. This is why I hate cats. What does a dog do? He goes and lays on the floor and waits for you to rub his stomach. What does a cat do? He goes and finds the freaking tightest spot he can find and hides in it because he's a freaking cat. And he's like, oh, I'm going to be stupid. And, I hate cats. But it's sad when someone loses their pet. So hopefully the cat does return. We will keep updated if we can, depending on what we know about that. You know what? I did pull some interesting articles here for actually this one at least, for more discussion, even though I was trying to get away from the seriousness. Man is ordered to take down zombie nativity scene. The suburban Cincinnati owner of a nativity scene with a zombie twist said he hasn't decided whether to comply with an order to remove the undead display. Jason Dixon was threatened by the Sycamore Township with a $1,000 fine if he does not remove the Christmas Halloween mashup display, which he dubbed the zombie nativity, from his yard by Friday. Officials said a pair of anonymous complaints led investigators to determine the 10-foot by 10-foot nativity scene, which is pretty big if you think about it. 10 feet by 10 feet.
Yeah, sorry, something was moving in my room. I think that raccoon slid down my guitar, man. And I got really confused.
They are everywhere.
Not a real raccoon. My cutout raccoon. I have a cutout golem over there in the corner, too.
Nice.
Which I might bust out. Freaks people out every now and then. Okay, sorry, go ahead. I got distracted. 10 by 10 nativity scene filled with zombies.
So he's got this in his yard.
Pretty darn big.
They're claiming it violates property maintenance code. So I'm almost 6 feet, a couple inches short. So about a foot off me, and then twice that size, and then twice that long. And that is how big this thing is. Kind of big. It doesn't say how big the actual, baby zombie Jesus is or anything like that. So I don't know how really big it is, but if it's all like to scale, 10 feet by 10 feet is pretty big. Dixon, who manages the 13 Rooms of Doom haunted house in Rising Sun, Indiana, said he and fiancée Amanda Baker are huge Halloween fans, so when it came to time to decorate for Christmas, they decided to work on the objects they had already had from other holidays. Quote, we had ugly stuff to work with, quote, said Dixon. The ugly stuff turned into a display featuring a partially skeletal wise man and a pale baby Jesus with empty white eyes. Township Administrator Greg Bickford said the order is not a result of the content of the display, which he called comical. He said that the size and location, of the display prompted the order to have it removed. The township is not anti-zombie or anti-nativity. Dixon still is unsure whether or not he's going to comply. I am going to call bullshit on the thing of it not being about the content of the scene. Now, I'm not saying that the mayor, who is it saying? The administrator, the township administrator. I'm not going to say he is lying. He very well could find it funny. But I think the reason people complained was not because they saw it and said, that is big and probably doesn't fit maintenance codes. They saw it and were like, oh my God, that's zombie Jesus. We have to do something about this. So I promise, this is the last big question aside from Would You Rather, I guess. What is your opinion on something like this as far as, like, this kind of falls under, and I guess this is why I grabbed it, this kind of falls under the thing that we were talking about with the interview, freedom of expression, you know? Mm-hmm. Whether or not, and you could argue with the interview it's different. You know, it was Kim Jong-un, a known dictator, a known asshole, versus us making a movie about killing him. Well, this is most likely about a guy who was like, I've got Halloween stuff, so freaking zombie nativity would be funny. And then people seeing it
13 Rooms of Doom.
Right. People seeing it and thinking, you know, well, zombie Jesus could be blasphemous, you know, from any kind of Judaic Christian, you know, standpoint. What do you think? Should he have? I mean, let's assume that it's not because of the size thing. It very well could be because of the size thing, but I'm gonna guess that people complained because they thought zombie Jesus was inappropriate. Do you think it's particularly in bad taste to have a zombie Jesus nativity scene?
I don't. People throw up jack-o'-lanterns, skeletons, all that on Halloween. So, and people are like, that's a skeleton. Get it out of here. Like, I get it's Christmas. Christmas usually isn't zombies.
Right.
But I mean, it's still a nativity scene.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
And then, and it's also his property, his yard. Is 10 by 10 meaning width and height or width and depth?
I don't know. It's really interesting.
But either way, he shouldn't take it down. But I mean, well, now it's past Christmas, so now he's probably going to take it down anyway.
Yeah, no.
So I mean,
yeah, this article was a day before Christmas.
Yeah. So he should do whatever he wants in his front yard.
I think so too. I mean, and it doesn't seem like it's being particularly blasphemous. Now, if he was burning a cross or if he was doing something, you know, a little goofy, being a little, I don't know. I mean,
but I mean, if it is actually city ordinance or whatever, and then it legitimately is too big, then yeah, I mean, there's nothing really he can do. Like, it's the law.
Right, exactly.
But people shouldn't be, like, it only got brought to the city's attention because someone was offended and was trying to get him in trouble.
Yeah. Most likely. I mean, as much as he doesn't want to claim it's about that stuff, you got to, like, really? Really? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's jumping to conclusions to assume that because it's a zombie nativity scene that, so, you know, if we're going to claim that someone must have a problem with it, then we must understand that someone could have a problem with it. And I totally understand why someone could have a problem with it. I really do. People don't like... There was a girl I knew who... what show was it? I'm trying to think. I think it was maybe South Park. And she would skip every episode that had Jesus in it because she was like devout Catholic, but she didn't like seeing Jesus being portrayed as, you know, anything other than whatever the biblical representation of Jesus was. And it's totally fine, whatever. But I'm like, you realize the rest of that show is also pretty offensive, and that's the point, right? It's like not just the Jesus interpretation. And I realized, okay, so I've started watching South Park recently. I've never really seen South Park prior to this. And so...
I'm in the same boat. I've never really watched it.
Well, and so when you don't watch it, you come to conclusions by your own. You see clips and all this other kind of crap, and you go, oh my gosh, that show is really bad. And having watched the first couple of seasons, yeah, they do stretch some things, but you also realize that a lot of it is so exaggerated that it's hard to really take any of it seriously. Like, you don't, so sure, they have Jesus hanging out, and he's got a talk show on South Park, and you're like, wow, that's outrageous. Like, he's taking calls from people, and he's like, like they'll call up and they'll be like, Jesus, and they like start to tell him his problem. He's like, yes, I know. And just, it's kind of funny. And, it's not being particularly offensive, although people think that any kind of rendition of anything that, is just automatically offensive, The zombie Jesus thing, baby Jesus thing, may not in itself actually be offensive. There's no message behind it. It's not saying that Jesus is a zombie or whatever. It's saying, here, we put some zombie things on him, and now he's zombie Jesus. And people are immediately saying it just as almost, I guess, defilement of, well, you took Jesus and you put things on him and make him look like he's from Halloween. That in itself is offensive, and that's what I think I have a problem with, is just the fact that he can't be depicted any other way. Like, you're not able to... Yeah, I don't know. But those are my thoughts. It's really isn't the place, I guess, to get into it, because everyone's got their own beliefs and whatever. If you think it's offensive, that's perfectly okay. But don't look at it. Don't go by the guy's house. And as much as it's such an interesting thing that we founding fathers and everything built this whole thing and said there must be a separation of church and state, and then we continue to make all of our decisions based on one religion. We call America the freaking melting pot, like, because we have all these different races, we have all these different people, we have all these different beliefs. But I'll be damned if we're going to make a law that says anything that doesn't agree with my Christian belief. Like, it's like, really, like, you don't have to make laws that go against Christian beliefs necessarily. It's I don't know. It's weird. Separation of church and state and religion and government in general is weird to me, but. That is not the point.
Really big topic.
Yeah, that's definitely not the point for this. New York Transit poster takes aim at man-spreading. What is man-spreading, you might be asking. Whoops, that article didn't do what I wanted it to. New York transit officials are taking aim at man-spreading on the subway with a poster urging train riders to close their legs. The Metropolitan Transit Authority posters depict a cartoon subway rider with his legs spread far apart to take up multiple seats, with the caption reading, "Dude, stop the spread, please. It's a space issue." The poster is part of an MTA campaign to discourage space hogging by backpack wearers and man-spreaders, the latter of which have been the subject of numerous blogs and Twitter crusaders aiming to publicly shame those who spread their legs to take up multiple seats on a crowded train. Paul Floranges, the MTA Senior Director for Corporate and Internal Communications, told the New York Times officials were careful to select the right tone for the campaign. I had them add the dude part because I think, dude, really? I mean, we don't. Have you been on a train before? I've never been on a train.
Never been on a train.
I've been on a metro, like in Washington D.C. They have they're like trains, I guess. It's just like a smaller transit that don't last nearly as long. And maybe I guess you can call it a metro, or rather a train of sorts. But yeah, I mean they get packed. I've never seen man spreading though, but I've also never. I haven't ridden on one in a couple years, but it's kind of entertaining. Man spreading. Let's Google man spreading.
When they said for guys to close their legs, I was thinking like they were wearing way too short, baggy, short shorts and spreading their legs, kind of exposed themselves. So I'm glad it went the route it did, because that was going to be really weird.
Yeah. So if you Google man spreading,
I don't know if I want to.
And go to images. It's actually not that bad, and the only images you'll see are for like the first line or two. But it shows you people on a train sitting there taking up like 2 spaces because they're spreading their legs for whatever reason that men decide that they need to spread their crotch as wide as they can.
It's dominance, man.
It must be. Here is my genitalia. You better accept it, I guess, is what's being said. I don't know. It's really weird. Fortunately, we have a good article to end on here. Florida woman is arrested for slapping grandmother after she denied her Facebook friend request. So, a West Florida woman faces felony assault charges after she reportedly attacked her grandmother for denying a Facebook friend request. Deputies arrested Rachel Ann Hayes, 27, early Thursday for aggravated battery on an elderly person. According to authorities, Hayes slapped the 72-year-old multiple times. WFLA reports the woman was Hayes' grandmother, and that Hayes' arrest affidavit indicated alcohol was a factor in the assault. The attack allegedly stemmed from an argument between the two over Hayes' Facebook moniker. Hayes' grandmother refused to accept her friend request unless the name was changed, according to authorities. Hayes initially left the residence but returned in an ensuing argument. She slapped the grandmother multiple times at the threshold of a door before the elderly woman was able to retreat inside. It sounds like a battle. Deputies arrived on scene and arrested Hayes, who was released on a $10,000 bond. Hayes' jail records show prior arrests for alcohol-related incidents, including a DUI last year. Okay, we don't need to read about that. It doesn't tell us what her freaking Facebook name was. I want to know what her Facebook name was that caused her to slap her grandmother. Would you ever slap your grandmother for any reason, Tony? Is there anything that your grandmother could do, like deny a Facebook request, that you would want to slap her for? I can't think of anything I'd ever want to slap my grandmother for either. It's weird. Not even after having a cider or two.
Like, can't you see? I just want to be your Facebook friend.
Come on, Grandma.
It's just a button. It's just a website. Come on. Come on.
Alrighty. Well, and shoot, we don't have, every week we don't have a sound clip for this.
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Welcome to Would You Rather, everybody. Alrighty. Well, here we go. This is, damn, we have almost a full-size show today. This is incredible. Let's run through a couple questions here. I'm gonna pick 2 or 3. Tony, what do you want to do? 2 or 3?
Let's do 2, okay. And then we'll see how we're feeling for 3.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Alrighty. Would you rather? I saw this one. I was excited for it. Would you rather be able to zoom in your vision? So, like, you have the ability to basically just go. And it's like super, like, you know, your eyes don't bulge out of your head, but you can, what is that? And zoom in. Or zoom in your hearing. So when you hear something, you can, and hear something from farther away. So basically see from great distances or hear from great distances.
Okay. When you say zoom in, is the resolution that I'm in seeing things increased, or am I going to zoom in and it's just going to be blurry?
I'm going to say that the resolution stays with like a 20, like a you know, whatever. If you're looking over there and you see something in that resolution, and then you zoom in, yeah, it's not going to be grainy and pixelated. I'm going to say
it's not. Okay, actually, you can. That's like eagle vision, pretty much.
Sure.
Like
yeah,
a hawk. You can. Okay, but I'll do vision.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the practicalities.
Then if there was hearing stuff, there'd be stuff like maybe you just don't want to hear it at the time.
Well, so here's the thing: is it's not necessarily like a 24/7 thing. I'm going to say it's you activate it. It's a special power. You decide, you know, there's, you know, so and so over there is talking about something. It's really weird, and you get to listen to what they're saying, or, you know, you're looking down the road and you think you see a dude with a gun or something. You're like, what's that? And just zooming in on him. And you can see, I don't know, that he's got something in his pocket. And he's happy to see you. No, I don't know. But yes, I mean, those are the 2 scenarios. Is you basically, you either see or you hear something and you're like, I want to know more about that. And then you can You can.
I would go here. Not here. I would go sight.
I'll go there. Still sight. Let's see.
Although hearing, you could like turn yourself into like you could turn all the lights off and you just know where everything is.
Yeah.
With some practice.
With some practice, get some sonar going on.
Yeah.
Hear or see? I might go with hearing. I think I want to have zoomed in hearing. I think I would like to be able to eavesdrop better than, than looking in on things. Let's see what.
Well, okay then.
Let's see what the votes
got
are.
A creeper on our midst. Although I guess I could also creep pretty good.
Yes,
with
you could. You could
eyes.
open the blinds.
Ooh,
and look next
look
door.
at that.
56% out of 125,000 votes said that they would rather zoom their vision. 44% said that they would rather zoom in their hearing. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh boy. Ooh. That one's morbid. Okay, here's an interesting one. Would you rather always know if someone is checking you out? So, like, you're walking, and all of a sudden you're like, you can sense it. Someone's looking at you, checking out your butt or whatever. Or never get caught checking someone else out. So, no, like, just for whatever reason, if you see someone attractive who has attractive features and you decide to look, for whatever reason, no one looks, then notices that you're doing it. But you're.
I feel like if I go one way, I'm conceited because I want to know when people are looking at me. But if I go the other way, I'm a creep because I want to check girls out and not get caught. That's a tough one. I'm gonna be honest.
I think I have my decision.
You go ahead first, then.
I think I would rather know if someone was checking me out.
Okay.
Well, and I mean,
does it have to be checking out or just like paying attention to you specifically? Because that could be useful in like stealth ops.
That's true. Although that could also mean that if you could never be caught paying attention to someone, that you could literally just look at somebody and then sneak right by them and just constantly be focusing on them and never be seen.
I could just be checking them out and just like walking, doing circles around.
And yeah, and they'll just like continually turn around and they'll never see you. No, I'm going to say it's like specifically like like, and do women check dudes out? I mean, like, what is there to look? Like, on a women, there's features, there's curves that you're like, ooh, okay, she's cute. But for men, I'm curious, like, is it that much of a thing?
Yeah,
is it really
I don't know.
a thing for them to go, oh, he's... I mean, I guess if you're ripped, probably. If you're buff, that probably causes some heads to turn. Yeah, I'm still going to go with I would always want to know if someone was checking me out. And I'm going to say it doesn't apply to stealth operations. It only has to be when people are like, ooh, they're like basically like a double, what's the word? Double take. Yes, double take. Basically, and for good or for worse, I'm going to say it's also them being like, oh, Jesus Christ, he's overweight. Like that kind of something. It's both. It's not always a good thing. Yeah, I think that would be more interesting. For never checking someone out, I don't know. I don't really know. And I've got a girlfriend, so of course I'm going to be like, oh, I don't check women out. But I honestly can't really think of, I go to work, I see the same people every day, I come home and I don't go out. I mean, there's really not anyone for me to check out, so it doesn't really apply. It's like, I have no use for that feature. But, I don't know. So let's click here. Let's figure out. Okay. Interestingly enough, 125,000 votes. 67% said that they would rather always know if someone was checking them out, rather than never get caught checking people out.
There's a guy at the gym. who does not care if he gets caught checking out girls. It's like comical. It's just this like, yep, they know. I don't care.
Yeah, well, he's probably also the kind of guy to think, like, oh, this is me letting them know I'm interested. This is me being freaking out.
This dude is like close to 40, probably upper 40s. No, he's over 40 for sure. And just huge. Just crazy big. And he just doesn't care.
We'll do one more. We'll do one more here. This isn't bad.
Sweet.
This is pretty easy. Well, I don't say it's easy, but it's not a crazy one. Would you rather live anywhere you want and have the house paid off? Okay, so you can. I'm going to say live anywhere, and you also get to choose the house.
Okay.
Live anywhere you want, but it's all paid off. Not the accessories, so it's not like, I want a house that's got 60 big screen TVs in there. No, you just get to pick the house. Maybe the furniture, but you can't accessorize. So that's all paid for by yourself. Or be able to travel anywhere you want for free forever. So if you right now were like, oh, I want to get on a flight to Spain, you could do it for free. Round trip.
Does that include hotel? Like if for a night? Or is it just airfare?
I'm trying to think about the situation here. Because I got to make them equal. So in one scenario, you get to have the house, and it's all paid off. So you get to choose the house and it's paid off. But you have to spend money on bills, you have to spend money on food, you have to spend money on everything else. The other one, you get to make the trip. I'm going to say that your hotel is also covered, but you're left with, any kind of mortgage you have at home and then any kind of expenses you're making on your trips.
I would do travel anywhere. Because I'm guessing once you move into the house, that's the house you're living for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Or can you instantly sell that house and instantly buy another house?
I'm going to say that this is the house. So you have to make this one count. This is the house you live in for the rest of your life. You can still travel even with that house. And actually, if you think about it, if you're not paying mortgage or anything, you can do a lot of stuff, go out and not have to worry about making house payments, I guess. You still have to worry about a job, but I'm not sure how much house payments are really that big of a deal. I mean, they're a big deal, but I'm curious how much of a weight they lift when you no longer have to pay one. Versus being able to travel wherever you want. I'll say lodging is free, just like we'll say with the house situation, where lodging would also be free. But you have to pay for any other expense as far as, food, any kind of events that you go on. Or that you partake in, rather.
I would do travel anywhere, and then I would travel to the moon. Just kidding. I know that doesn't count.
I don't know. Maybe technically. I mean, I guess it does say anywhere.
First man on Mars.
Because
free.
that also means you could live anywhere. Technically, it does say live anywhere you want. I don't know. Traveling sure would be neat. Especially if it was free. And it doesn't say...
You can just be like, I'm going to take a long weekend. I'm just going to go over to Spain. I'm going to go to Mexico for a day.
It doesn't even... So, it doesn't say that it has to be any kind of extra time or there's no time limit. So if you could take, an extra vacation day and fly out somewhere... Although, I wonder if the flying would get old.
It might, but... You could be like, hey, Jake, let's play music this weekend.
Yeah, I know, that would be really neat, but...
We could fly out for 3 days and rock out.
I don't know what to pick. Because having the dream house would be awesome, because then I could just... get in my house and try to do the the studio I want, or be able to not live down the street from a bar, or something. I could change something.
It's true.
Shoot. Just for the sake of interesting, whatever. I'm gonna say I'd rather Oh, shit. That's a hard one. I don't want to lock in because then I'll never be able to take it back. I would rather live anywhere and have the house paid off. I would rather. I don't think that's true, actually, but I feel like in the long run, it would be something that I would prefer. Because right now, traveling sounds awesome because I'm living here, you know. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Well, 120,000 votes. 34% said that they would rather live in the house paid off. 66% said that they would rather travel anywhere for free forever. Yeah, interesting. It was a little bit more one-sided than I realized. Some interesting questions today. Anyways, let me kill the Jazz. Oh wait, it's already killed. See you in our show, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to help out with the show, best way you can do that, if you're thinking to yourself, man, these guys are great. How can I help them succeed? Well, you can share our stuff on Facebook. You know, anytime the show goes live, anything. Liking the post is nice, but if you share it, other people will see it. Do what I do. Try to do a little personalized message every time you share it. Whenever I share, I try to change it up. I try to be a little funny with it, you know, but I try not to just do a regular share. Because if you just do a share, people see it and they're like, damn, they're sharing that thing every week. I have no idea what it is. Just says Stream the Machine. That's not cluing me in, and it really doesn't. It doesn't say that it's a podcast. I mean, streaming, I guess, but yeah. You know, just say, hey,
it's a river of robots.
Right.
Actually, what it is.
Yeah, just say, you know, here's this week, and then next week say, oh, episode whatever, it should be funny, and oh, last week we talked about, you know, like just personalized message. It works great. Do you want to find out how you can sponsor a segment, which I don't even know how long it's been since we sponsored one. My aunt sponsored a segment. I think I'm probably like the third or fourth episode.
Yeah,
and that was it. It's been over 30 episodes. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your support. You can go to patreon.com/streamthemachine. Figure out how you can support us there. If you decide, you know what, I don't mind donating $1 to these guys a month or something like that. You don't even have to donate any money. Actually, you can just go there and be a supporter. It helps out. You'd be surprised how much that would help out versus just going over there and forking out $5. Yeah, sure, that kind of stuff helps us get new equipment and stuff like that, but it's big. It's more helpful for us to just sort of spread the word and to show that, yes, we have a community that likes to listen. Email in your music. We actually have new music starting next week. I'm excited because next week stops the Christmas vibe. I had new music sent in this week from our show favorites, Chose Mac and DJ YOS Jersey, but unfortunately I'm not going to play it today because we're going for Christmas stuff, but they will have their stuff on next week. We should have Ross back next week as well, so hopefully that should change the show up a little bit, and I will try to figure out our stupid jazz issue. You can follow me on Twitter at RedefineJack. You can follow Tony at TonyDePalma51. You can follow the show at STM Podcast. Website is SharingTheMachine.com. There you can figure out more about the show. If you missed it, you can figure out what was on the show now that I'm posting little previews again. And you can also send people there if they want to learn about the show. You can listen to old episodes as well. Want to thank everyone for their help. Tony, as always, for being an awesome co-host. Love having you on here. Love doing our talks and just being a podcast.
It's a good time.
Come back next week. Is going to be episode 38, and it will also be 2 days after the new year. So we will not see you guys until next year at this point. Yeah, I know. But should be exciting. I have the same schedule next week as I did this week. So this week we had Christmas Eve and Christmas on Wednesday, Thursday. And I worked Monday, Tuesday, and then came back to work on Friday. Same exact thing next week. It's going to be Monday, Tuesday, and then Christmas Eve. Sorry. New Year's Eve and New Year's
Christmas
Day.
again?
I know. Double Christmas. And we'll have that off. And then come back on that Friday to work that no one really wants to ever be there. You know, freaking New Year's. But Rachel will be back by then, so of course it'll be nice just to kind of relax and be a very relaxing time. With that said, we have a great song, a Christmas song to boot, to play us out today. Really excited for this one. I heard, I think about half of it, and I was really stoked as I heard it. I was like, damn, that's actually really good for a Christmas song. So we have a little little bit of words of wisdom here before we head on out.
It's something about the girl.
And we thank you for that. Tony, thank you very much, Tony, for coming on the show and all the great stuff you do.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week with more entertaining things and more jazz than ever. We will see you guys then. Have a happy new year. Hope you had a great Christmas. We will see you in a week.
Snowflakes falling down towards the earth this morning. Wow, I can't believe my eyes, it's like a Christmas card. I hope it will set. I haven't had a real white Christmas yet. I've got my fingers crossed, I've never wished this hard. Snowflakes falling down to the ground beneath my feet. Pieces of frozen cloud are floating to the earth to meet. Snowflakes falling down, and I'm dazzled by the sight. Soon everything will be alright. Wrap my scarf up tight, tight against the wind and laugh despite the shivering, and off into the world I go. It's just so much fun to try and catch a snowflake on your tongue. It's easy when the air is thick with swirls of snow. Snowflakes falling down to the ground beneath my feet. Pieces of frozen cloud are floating to the earth to meet. Snowflakes falling down, and I'm dazzled by the sight. Soon everything will be alright. Snowflakes falling down to the ground beneath my feet. Pieces of frozen cloud are floating to the earth to meet. Snowflakes falling down, and I'm dazzled by the sight. Soon everything will be alright. Snowflakes falling down to the ground beneath my feet. Pieces of frozen cloud are floating to the earth to meet. Snowflakes falling down, and I'm dazzled by the sight. Soon everything will be alright. Snowflakes falling down to the ground beneath my feet. Pieces of frozen cloud are floating to the earth to meet. Snowflakes falling down, and I'm dazzled by the sight. Soon everything will be alright. Snowflakes falling down to the ground beneath my feet. Pieces of frozen cloud are floating to the earth to meet. Snowflakes falling down, and I'm dazzled by the sight. Soon everything will be alright.
This has been a Fly Science Productions podcast.
Toronto doesn't have bums.
That's what I get for putting my mic live before the end of the song.
My mic now that it's over. So I should unmute my mic now that it's over. I was trying to say something earlier, and I was like...
Oh, man. I do not know what the deal was with that stupid iTunes issue. For real.
Yeah, that's weird.
It was the weirdest thing. I guess, let me see. See if there's like... Oops.
Hey, do you know if Newegg price matches?
I don't know about that, actually. I don't know if I've known any. Let's see here. Okay, so if you buy an item on Newegg advertised with the Iron Egg Price Guarantee badge from November 1st, November 24th, and find a lower advertised price of the same item. So this kind of doesn't... within 14 days of the purchase, Newegg will match that price, subject to verification in the terms below. Competitors' prices must be advertised after you bought your item, but no later than the 24th. So it doesn't seem like the price match counts after the 24th.
Bummer.
Qualifying orders will automatically be upgraded to the extent blah blah blah. Yeah.
So why is it even a thing now that it's over?
What, the Iron Egg guarantee?
Yeah, it says till December 24th. That's weird. Because I'm buying basically the i5 version of the processor you have.
Nice.
4690K.
Nice.
And my mom got me Newegg gift cards for Christmas. And it's not going to be enough to completely buy it, but it's cheaper on Amazon by $15, which is why I'm curious to see if they'll match it. I just email them, see if they'll do it.
What did you say it was? 4560 or 4670?
4690.
4690. See, you're looking at the $229 price?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazon got it for $215 or something. Yeah. I mean, it's not like...
Well, so... Hold on a second. Let me see. Yeah. 4690K. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it doesn't include the free shipping, but it does. They both have free shipping.
Yeah. Either way, I'm not gonna.
It's a bit of a bummer, I guess.
I'm gonna wait till I guess Friday probably to order it because I don't have to come and sit in my house in the cold while I'm snowboarding.
Yeah. I got lucky. The stuff I ordered that I think it showed up pretty soon, or pretty close to the time before I got home, because UPS comes later in the day and I get home around 6, so they usually show up around 5 to 6.
Nice. Oh, what motherboard do you have? You know?
The Asus, I think it's the Z87A is what it says. I think Z97 is the newest one. So guys at work were telling me, like the newest one in the Z series, or I don't know. I don't really know what series it is, but I know that mine is not as new as I wished it was, which sucks. But there's not much I can do about that now.
Like for Christmas, my mom was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I was like, "Money on Newegg." So, I want all these things, but I have to spend a lot of money on my computer. And
yeah, let's see.
Well, what do you want? I was like, that. If you're going to get me a bunch of small stuff, don't. And just give me. Yeah, I'm not trying to be greedy or anything, but it's just.
If you're trying to do me a favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like this motherboard is... The one I have is $100, and you can actually, if you send in the rebate, you can get $30 back as credit.
Ooh. It's the Asus...
I just typed in Z87A, and it's the first one that pops up.
So on Newegg?
Yeah. It says 105, so it's already almost... Well, it's $40 off. And then it says it's $75 with a $30 mail-in rebate. Or it says rebate card. Hold on, let me see if that's in... It's probably not included. You probably have to mail it in. I kind of hate rebates.
I do too. I never remember.
I've never even... I don't know if I've even done one ever. I don't even... Let's see. Let's see what the cost of the newer version of this is. Wow, the newer version is the same price as the retail of the Z87, but just not on sale. Not even sure 100% what the difference between the Z87 and the Z97 is. I don't know enough about computers to know that.
Mm-hmm. This is the... Let's see. This is one I was looking at. I mean, it's micro ATX, but it's got really good reviews and it's cheap. And if I ever want to SLI, I'll just get a new one, I guess.
A new motherboard?
Yeah. So I don't know whether to stay cheap. This is just $70 with no rebate. Facebook it.
Yeah, I see it.
But or just go ahead and just spend it anyway.
Well, so here's the thing too. I don't know how big your case is, but it will depend on what board you can use. When I ordered a case the first time, it was too small for the motherboard.
This one...
And I think the fact that this says it's a micro and it just looks smaller. It's probably a smaller...
It is, but I think my case can do micro ATX. I'm trying to pull up my case. My internet is sucking right now. Yeah,
I mean... It's not awful. It's not. I don't know what else the difference between the two boards really offers, I guess. Besides the fact that it's missing a couple PCI slots, but
yeah, it fits micro ATX. My case is a full size case.
That's good. Let's see. Yeah, because I didn't realize how big. Yours is probably the same size as mine. Full tower, yeah. Because that shit's, like, bigger than servers. Like, unless you're talking about, like, rack servers. Because we took it into work. I took mine into work when I was getting that shit installed, and everyone was like, what? Like, they didn't think it was a gaming computer. They were like, what is that? Because it was bigger than all of the servers that we had.
Yeah. Dude, have you seen the Corsair Airs, like 540s?
I have not.
They're like the cube ones that look awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, Corsair Air 540.
It looks interesting.
Yeah. Looks like easy to work with.
Is it like see-through on the side? Or no?
Yeah,
it
there's
just
a
has
panel.
the panel removed, I think.
I think there's a see-through panel.
I mean, I know they make them, but see-through panels, I don't know. That's interesting, though. High airflow, it says. Huh. That's interesting. I'm thinking about, I mean, not now, but eventually I'm thinking about looking into some kind of cooling system for mine, because they were talking about at work with having the video card now and the processor that I have. I'm going to want to be careful about temperature, and everything seems to be running fine. Oops. Doesn't seem to be too many issues with temperature at the moment.
Yeah, my mom. Right now, my mom bought a computer off Norbom.
Really?
Her desktop crashed, and she's using like a 22-inch Vizio, like 1080p TV as the monitor right now.
Right.
I'm like, Mom, how about this? You've been complaining that you want a bigger monitor. How about you get a bigger monitor, and then I take this. I'm just like a 19-inch 900p monitor right now.
I need to make the switch on mine, but making one switch would probably mean switching multiple monitors, and I don't want to do that yet. Because I'm going to need them all to be similar size if I do. I cannot find my... I thought I downloaded a program called, like, CPU Monitor for my frickin' temps. Or no, it was Core... Was it Core Temp? There we go. It sure was Core Temp. There. What? Damn it.
Yeah, there's a subreddit called Build a PC Sales. And it just monitors when parts go on sale.
Huh.
Which is pretty handy. And they do like microphones and headphones too.
That's neat.
Yeah, that Yeti was on here yesterday. That microphone.
Oh, right.
Like,
I don't think there's... I'm trying to think. I don't think there's a huge difference between the Yeti and the Yeti Pro, except for the Yeti Pro has XLR, which I decided to go with. In case I ever want to plug it into like an interface, it's going to be better than USB.
Yeah.
I can't remember what else about it, but I think they're essentially the same mic. It just literally was like the input maybe, and maybe XLR input's that much more expensive, but the Yeti was, I think, like half the price. Let's see. Oh, you know what? And also the Yeti, I think, caps at like a 4800 bit rate or something like that, 48K, and the Yeti Pro goes up to like 192. But the thing is I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do that, like need that recording bit rate unless I was to do like studio level stuff, which I guess is the idea eventually, but that's what it was. It was the XLR, and then the bit rate was like almost 5 times as crazy. Because I think 48K is like CD quality, so 192K was just crazy. I was really just trying to make sure that I didn't have to buy another mic for a while. It's nice. It's heavy as shit, though. It's a lot bigger than I expected it to be, which isn't a bad thing.
You know anything about MasterPass promos right now?
What is it? MasterPass? I've never even heard of it.
weird. But yeah, hopefully. I don't know. Still don't know what that issue is with my computer. Why it crashes.
Is it still crashing?
I mean, it's crashed twice since Norm came over and we did mem test, a couple other CPU and hard drive tests, and everything passed. And then we reinstalled Windows. I installed Windows 8, and then it crashed again. So I don't know. I mean, my graphics card is 4 years old and has been refurbished.
I don't know that would cause it just running, because your graphics card shouldn't be doing anything until you're running a game.
Yeah. But, and then, so the only other thing was, well, I don't know what the only other thing would be. RAM drivers for the graphics card. But update RAM.
Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not much for troubleshooting issues like that for why it would be crashing. Because you'd have to see, what it was doing at the moment before it crashed, Or was it, maxing RAM for whatever reason? Was it maxing the processor? Because if a processor's being pushed to the limits, I know there's, an auto shutdown feature.
Mm-hmm. Maybe this is what the processor is?
Well, I know that some Intel processors, I don't know if it's all of them or not, but I know the one I have now has an auto shutdown feature if it's supposed to run too hot. So it would stop before it got dangerous. But
yeah. Because I wish, when I first built my computer, I wish I knew more about bottlenecking. And
yeah,
because that's pretty low, a mid to low range processor, and my graphics card at one time was pretty high end, and I don't know if it's can keep up with it.
Right. I mean, it used to be an issue I used to have that I just kept upgrading my graphics card, never upgraded anything else, and eventually just kind of didn't see the upgrades, and I was like, damn, what the hell's I spent, $200 on his card. Why is there no upgrade? Why does it not look better? And I found out it's because, occasionally that it can be bottlenecked by processor.
Yeah.
The one you're getting, though, is going to be pretty bitchin'. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, I had 2.6 gigahertz for the longest time, and then just jumped to over 3 with that last processor, and then the one I have now I think is 4, but that's super high end.
Yeah.
The 4690, I think it was a 3.5 gigahertz quad core. I mean, it's pretty damn good. I don't think that's going to bottleneck anything.
No, because I looked up, I wanted to switch to Intel, and I was like, best, because I didn't want to drop the money for an i7. I was like, best i5s, and they're like, this one, everyone, all the reviews were like, this one's for gaming, it's one of the best processors. If you're trying to do other stuff, obviously go with an i7, but if it's sticking to gaming, that's what.
Yeah. I was going to go with the i5, and it wasn't until we had some issues with the show that I thought the i7 would be better because of the hyper-threading that it does. But yeah, I mean, the features that come with the i7 aren't going to do me any good on gaming. So, but it does help with the show, at least so far. It keeps everything from hitting 100%. Still gets close, yeah. But getting close doesn't mean anything, because as long as it's not hitting 100, then it's doing its job.
Mm-hmm.
All right, homie. Well, good show, good stuff, good discussion and stuff. Hopefully we should get back to being a little more lighthearted when Ross comes back. And then we can dip right back into our serious Karmified segments.
Yeah. If we can save all the deeper stuff till the end.
All right, homie. Well, I will see you later. You have a good weekend.
All right, man. You too.
See ya. Thank you for listening to us. Especially if you stuck around that long. Who wants to listen to us for that freaking long? Talking about computer jank. I should have hit the stop recording button years ago.